The other one that I always wanted to find a use for was things like oyster shells or mussel shells. So we'll go and collect mussels or buy mussels, and you might have a kilo of shells, and everyone goes, well, what am I going to do with them? So they just throw them straight in the bin. So we've got a pizza oven at home and a small fire pit that we use in winter. And with a little bit of research, I realised that shells, whether they be oyster shells or mussels, are made up of calcium. So the animals take it from the ocean, they turn it into a shell. And as long as that shell is heated for long enough in an oven or a pizza oven or something like that, it breaks back down to calcium. So you can take a bone, like a large heavy dog bone, and if it's heated for, it's around about 180, 200 degrees. You can do it in your oven, but the smell's not the best, so I do it outside. If you just leave it in there for a few hours, okay, you come back, you'll touch it and it will just turn to powder, completely turn to powder. So therefore, all the shells and waste and seafood stuff just goes into the pizza oven once I've finished cooking on a Friday. Scrape it back out and it just turns to dust, and that's calcium, which is something plants need a lot of, and it goes straight into the compost bin. So some of the difficult items that people have a lot of left over might be eggshells. So eggshells are a perfect example. You can just let them dry out and crush them up by hand, and sure enough you'll have something small that you can put on your garden bed, vegetable bed, and it'll stop snails and slugs from actually eating them because they don't like crawling across something that's sharp. The other thing you can do is put them into a blender, whiz them up. I just use an old blender that we've got, and turns into a powder, and that's perfectly fine on the garden as it is.